What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Smooth Blaze, and welcome to week 7, part 2 of A Moment of Clarity. Yeah. Now, before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe to my page. If you got any ideas, anything, of course, I will have my email below so you can give out different input. But before we begin, let's start with what we talked about last week. On last week, we focused on where our money was going, being able to identify exactly where our money is going. If we do not know where our money is going, our money might lead us down a path of destruction. So now, as we transition into this new week, what I would like to bring up will be a phrase that came from the Barbershop movie. And it was between Calvin and, of course, the oldest person in the barbershop, played by Cedric the Entertainer. And Calvin finally came out and announced, look, I just realized this was something worth saving. Meaning that he already gave the money up just to get rid of his barbershop, because at the end of the day, the money wasn't right. He didn't spend the money right, and he didn't have enough heart, enough courage to tell his people that he was in trouble, and they would have been open to it. However, he finally told the most senior guy at the barbershop about this situation, and he just went off because it was unfair that this barbershop is deeper than just the money of it, deeper than just the principles. And from that standpoint, you realize that the budget that you have and the importance of a budget lays the foundation for not only for yourself, but for persons around you. People around you have lives. People around you have needs and things, and they rely on your leadership in order to get things done. But before we get into all that, we need to understand what is the importance of a budget. Now, before we can figure that out, we have to understand what a budget is. All right, let's check it out. First definition: a budget is a plan for the coordination of resources or expenditures. That's one. Two, the amount of money that is available for, required for, or assigned to a particular purpose. All right, let's go on to the last one. A budget is a statement of the financial position of an administration for a duration of time based on estimates of expenditures during the period and proposed for financing them. Now, out of all these three, that stand out is a plan of coordination of resources and expenditures. If we do not have a plan, like I stated in our previous part 1, a plan, well, basically a dream without a plan is just a wish. That's so essential. But when you have a budget, you understand exactly where everything is rolling. So we have to understand why this is important. I've given you definitions. Now we're going to transition into the point of, or ask a question. Do we prioritize budget in our life? We have to really look back and say, man, do I prioritize a budget? Being on a budget make me lame? Does being on a budget mean I'm broke? Does being on a budget mean that I can't do anything? Those questions we have to ask ourselves, because it's not popular to be on a budget. You see more people spending more money on stuff that they don't need and end up long term in a world of hurt or debt. And hurt because, like, man, I shouldn't have did all that. But at that point, it's too late. It's time to pay the piper. So as we go over the idea of, do you prioritize having a budget in your life, we're going to give some examples of things or some line items that's within a budget. First would be your current income. Your income will decide what lifestyle and how well or bad your lifestyle will be moving forward. That's the most important, essential part of it, is your income minus your expenses. Some examples of expenses that's within your budget deal with rent, mortgage, depending on what you're doing. Cable, Wi-Fi. If you don't have, if cable's too much for you, it's too much, fine. You need to have Wi-Fi. That's a necessity. Utilities. You gotta have utilities to keep the lights on, to keep the garbage people, those persons. Credit cards. Everybody that I know have a credit card and either have things that they owe or things that they're managing properly within credit, because credit is a major thing. Car insurance and car note. Those two things could go hand in hand, or one person can just have one. But it feels better to have your car note paid off and just paying insurance. All right, life insurance. That's important long term in regards to if you have a major family, even if it's just yourself or a few or just a couple. Make sure that you have life insurance in order to sustain you, so that you know proactively that you have a plan, God forbid anything happens. Not wishing it, but we have to be proactive. Gas, if you have a gas location, and also you got to keep the lights on in your house. I repeat, lights are essential. Without electricity, lights, you ain't got nothing. Okay, so now that we have evaluated the different line items within examples of what things you have to budget for, make sure that you look at your income versus your expenses. And think to yourself, this is the key thing, think to yourself, are there things in my life that I can take out that will be benefiting me more? And are things that I'm paying for least important? You have to think about that for yourself. But with all that, I have two more questions for you to understand as we close. Is having a budget important to you? Is having a budget important to you? I know it's important to me, but is it important to you? 2, do you really understand how to budget your income properly? Do you really understand how to budget your income properly? I slip up at times, but overall, I make sure I have a plan of action so that I can do that. But I just want to say thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing to my page. I appreciate you taking the time out just to come through and check out my material. But just know that if you enjoying this, if you know people that need this information, please share this video, like, comment, subscribe, and also click a thumbs up for all notifications. Make sure you press all notifications so you can get all my latest videos coming up. But I need y'all to understand that a budget is the most important, essential thing to making sure that you have regulations in your life. You'll know whether you can afford certain things. But just stay tuned for my next video on next week. I have another treat dealing with financial literacy. Peace.